Hey friends, long time no see. I'm coming at you with a monthly reset. What month are we even going into? April. So I'm going to share with you some of my goals, how March went, and I'm going to share with you my April budget. I did not share with you my March budget because honestly, I don't even know what happened in March. Okay, it's still March. I don't even know what's currently happening in March. I wanted to share this with you guys and try to get back into creating these videos. I'm not gonna lie, sit down videos are much more difficult to do now than vlogs, so there might be more vlogs than there are these types of videos, but I know some of you only come to my channel for the budgeting content. So today I'm going to share with you, like I said, my goals, how March went, where April's going as far as goals go, and then I'm going to share with you our April budget, what I'm planning for the month, and then I probably take you through quickly our savings and debt tracker just so you can see where we're at with all that stuff. We are still currently in a place where our income doesn't cover all of our expenses. So we're trying to figure that out. We're hoping there's some changes with Ben's income. For the most part, what we have to do is lower our expenses because we don't really want me to have to go work anymore, and the client that I had was kind of just like the perfect scenario, and I no longer have them. I'm currently not bringing in an income. There is some chats about possibly helping with social media with a family run business. Nothing's been set in stone. In fact, there hasn't even been conversation about it for a while, so I'm not like holding my breath on that one. So we really have to double down on expenses and like what we're spending, where we're living, how that's affecting us. We've talked about this in multiple videos. I can actually link our most recent Q&A when I was still pregnant. The cost of living in where we live, which is the suburbs of Illinois. We're kind of like in the Schaumburg-ish area. We pay almost $3,000 a month just for our rent and expenses here, and that's not also counting like just the expenses of living in a pricier city. Obviously everything is pricey right now for everyone. We have a good amount of privilege for what we can do, and we have savings. It's not a great scenario. In best case scenario, we wouldn't be staying here in this house long term because it's just going to be eating away at our savings account. So I'm going to show you what that all looks like, but let's start with goals and reset, and then we'll jump into the budgeting and money stuff. And as always, I have chapters listed in the description box, so if you aren't interested in goals, you can skip forward to the budgeting content. But let's pull up Notion. Okay, so here is my goals page in my Notion that I use. So as far as, let's go through how March went first, and then we'll go through April. So health and healing, I do health and healing, work and money, which I've actually switched to social media and money because I'm not I don't currently have any work as far as like a job. And then home and family. So let's talk about it. Get cleared at 6-week checkup. I did about a week ago. Start ab rehab. I kind of did. So I purchased a postpartum workout / ab, like abdominal strengthening workout stuff. And I did my first workout today, and it is March 25th. So technically I did. Walk 2 times per week. We've actually done this for the most part, except for the weeks that has been like really cold. Start getting ready 2 to 3 days a week. I have not done this. I've gotten dressed like in an outfit 2 to 3 days a week, but I haven't like done my hair or my makeup. So I'm gonna leave that one unchecked for now. Social media and money, 5 short form videos a week. I have not done that. 1 YouTube video a week. I have not done that. Low spend month, I would say no. So this didn't go great. Honestly, it's been really hard for me to film, not only time wise, but I talked about this in my last vlog, which I can link if you're interested, but I just am not loving the way that I look right now. I'm not loving the way that I feel sometimes. So it's really hard to put yourself on camera and then edit it. Not only do I not have a ton of time to do that now with 2 kids, who in an infant, like a newborn that's not sleeping, but I also, like when I do have time, the last thing I want to do is think about the way that I look. Like, I'm just being honest, that's just something that I'm dealing with right now. So I have not been doing this very well, but as you can see, I'm trying to get back into it. I was trying to film, I filmed like a little vloggy for TikTok today. So I'm gonna try to get better on these. Low spend month, we were pretty good in certain areas, but then there were a couple of like big things that we got. Like, I spent a good amount of money at Old Navy getting some clothes that fit me, because I did a huge closet like clean out, and most of my clothes, in fact, I only had like 3 t-shirts, and they were all like they didn't make me feel very good about myself. So I got some Old Navy stuff for us. There's also an Old Navy order that I still have coming that I might take some of that back, but they had an online sale. So we did spend there, but that was something we decided together as a couple was important. I also spent a good chunk of money on a sleep sack for Poppy that I hope works, because the sleep sacks we currently have, she's like too long for, and she's really uncomfortable with them because she has gas. So she's like constantly kicking her legs. So I wanted to get a sleep sack that was a little bit longer, but we didn't have one for Ivy for this size, so I couldn't like just give her a hand-me-down. So purchased that, which ended up being a little bit higher in expenses. And then I don't really know when I will try to do a March budget recap at the end of this month and put that out in the next week or so, so you guys can see where we overspent. But I wouldn't say it was a low spend month, although I'm not like mad about what we did spend on. As far as home and family goes, prep for Ben to go back to work, we haven't really done that yet. Spring clean some spaces in the house, haven't really done that. Declutter some things, I have done that with like Ivy's clothes, and I've also done that with my clothes, so that's good. And then come up with a schedule for Poppy. This is funny. Well, when did I think that I was gonna have a schedule for a newborn? No, I do not have a schedule for a newborn. So moving on to April and some of my goals for this month. For health and healing, I have, you'll see the word prioritize a lot, because I'm not gonna put like a specific number on things. I'm just trying to get myself motivated and inspired to like do some stuff. So prioritize movement, maybe figure out a schedule. Again, I have a newborn and a toddler. My husband's going back to work mid-month. So schedules are going to change. Things are going to be different. I'm not sure what it's going to look like, but I want to prioritize movement, whether that is the postpartum workout program that I'm going to do, walking on my walking pad, getting outside and walking, but also just movement in general, like playing with Ivy outside or walking around with Poppy in the carrier versus sitting on the couch all the time. So just prioritizing moving versus being stagnant all the time. Prioritize water. I just need to be drinking more water as a breastfeeding mom, and also just like a human in general. I'm terrible at drinking water, so I need to be better at that. Prioritize whole foods. I want to do this. I'm probably never going to say that I'm going to do like a very strict diet, but I do just want to prioritize some more whole foods. I feel like I'm very hungry all the time because of breastfeeding, and I would just like to prioritize some of those hunger cues going toward like vegetables and fruits versus, or like proteins and stuff versus chips and cookies and things like that, which are totally fine, but I just want to level it out a little bit. I feel like right now it's like 60% packaged food, 40% whole food, and I would even just like to switch. That would be good for me. And then start new goals with naturopath. I have a naturopath appointment right at the beginning of April like 4th or 5th or something like that, and I would like to just figure out what I'm doing moving forward. Currently, what I believe in my brain is that Poppy was my last baby, so I'm no longer intending to get pregnant, so I don't want that to be something that I'm focusing on, anything like that. I am still breastfeeding, so there's a lot of stuff that I can't do, like supplement and medication wise, but I want this year for me to be a healthy mom and to just feel good in my body, both mentally and physically. So I just want to set up some new goals with my doctor. Moving on to social media and money, I have less eating out, only when truly necessary or with someone visiting. Honestly, I'm tired of all the restaurants around here anyway. I'm tired. Like, I have no interest in eating them. I've been eating mostly dairy-free because we're trying to figure out if that's affecting Poppy's gas. So to not be able to eat gluten, egg, or dairy, it's fairly impossible to get food out much that tastes very good, at least. So I just want to like chill on that. I don't think that we've been bad in March by any means, but I would love it if like I didn't go out at all, but I don't want to say that because that can be like really triggering for my brain. Like all or nothing can be really hard with me with food, so I just wanted to do that. Start filming more for YouTube and TikTok, try to get on a schedule. This is something I would love to get back into, whether that's filming vlogs, filming videos like this, trying to figure out when I can edit them, things like that. And then less spending on clothing for me. I spent a good amount of money on clothing in March. To be honest, I would like to chill on that unless there's something that I really need, but until I've lost some more weight and I feel a little bit more confident in my body, I don't want to keep buying a bunch of clothes. But I needed to have some clothes that fit my now body, like this postpartum era body. And you know, when I'm feeling a little bit better or when the clothes that I currently have aren't fitting, then maybe I'll look into purchasing more clothes. But I did put Ben and the kids might need some. Ivy needs some like rain boots and sandals. She also could use a little bit more stuff for like spring, summer. Poppy's probably good because we have a ton of clothes from Ivy when she was a baby, and they're on like the same schedule, which so far has been great for us. And then Ben might need some spring and summer stuff. I don't know if that'll be in April or if that'll be in May, but I just wanted to leave that open. And then home and family, I have prepare for Ben to go back to work, to actually prepare for this because he's going back April 14th, 13th, something like that. Get Ivy back on a schedule with help from Elizabeth and Terry. So this is my mother-in-law and sister-in-law. Right now my sister-in-law is here with Ivy, Ben is with Poppy. Ivy is gonna go by my mother-in-law tomorrow for the day, so that we'll just have Poppy, which is still a lot, but to have a little bit less. So I just want to get them back on a schedule, not only for my help to know what their schedule is, but for me to also feel like I have a little bit of help in that way. Even though I won't be working, I now will have 2 kids, and I would like to keep up my social media and just like also keep up the house. And currently, you know, having a newborn, she's very attached, which is normal, but she's not like an independent newborn. I don't think most are, but some people's are, and mine isn't, and I'm not gonna force that on her. So it's just a little bit harder to get stuff done. And then figure out setup / schedule for Poppy. Now, again, a schedule for a newborn, but I just want to figure it out with Ben, like, are we gonna start bringing Poppy up here to sleep? Because right now we're downstairs and I feel like she gets woken up very easily by, you know, people just using the kitchen or Ivy just like wandering around and living her life. But Poppy's in like a main space area, so I don't know, I want to figure that out. We also need to figure out our night shift because currently I basically am with Poppy by myself from like 7:30 to 4 a.m. and that's probably not gonna work when Ben goes back to work, because unless Poppy starts sleeping through the night a little bit more, not only because then Ben will be starting his day at like 4 a.m. if I'm not sleeping, I don't know. So we have to figure that out, but that'll be like a next week problem. We really only have like 2.5 weeks till he goes back, so we have to figure that out. But okay, let's move on to finances. Okay, so here is our budget for April. First of all, I'll go over the up and coming category. I need to take this off. I'm very warm right now. This room is like the warmest room, which is another reason that I'm not sure I want to put Poppy up here in the summer, but we'll see. Anyways, so in my up and coming thing, I basically just wrote down things that I know are, you guessed it, up and coming for the next year. So we have like some things like with income changing, holidays and birthdays, my friend's wedding, which I'm supposed to go to. It's in California, but I don't know if we'll be able to financially swing that this year, which she totally understands, but I'm really bummed about. So I have to figure that out with Ben. July's birthdays, August's birthdays, I'm saying is, not August's birthdays. September birthdays, and our lease renews in September, so we have to figure out what we're doing, because if we're gonna try to purchase a home, we basically need to start looking at stuff in like June. Why am I out of focus? October, Halloween, which probably won't do anything for November, Thanksgiving, and then all that stuff. So that is what is coming up. As far as income, I am anticipating a $7,100 income this month. Now I will say some of this includes savings, rollover. I don't have any expected income, and then Ben's income. Why does this keep focusing on my clothing and not on me? Okay, since my income is no longer available, Ben doesn't feel comfortable with me sharing his exact income in case like one of his coworkers is watching, or it's just weird for him, which I totally understand. I kind of have to like mess with this number a little bit so that it shows only his income, plus we have like savings and stuff coming in. I might change this moving forward. This is also a guess because he is possibly getting a raise, like, or is it a bonus? Is it a raise? I think it's a raise. I think he's getting a raise. So this is also like guessing how much he's getting with that raise. So anyway, this number is a little bit more like not fully true. So at the end of the month, you'll see more of like what actually came in income wise via savings, rollover, all that kind of stuff, and then his income as well. Just so it's not like the exact number, and also that's just what we feel comfortable sharing. And the other thing, if you don't know this, I kind of explained it at the beginning, but basically right now our expenses are more than our income because I lost my client at the beginning of the month, and we're trying to move into a space of me being only a stay-at-home mom versus having to find a job. So that means we need to start cutting expenses, figuring out how we're going to pay down debt. You know, I always say maybe like YouTube or, you know, TikTok will make me money someday, but I'm not like counting on that. I love doing this, but I'm not bringing in an income from it currently. It's just something that I like to do. It's a hobby. So unless I have something come in, we're pretty tight right now. And we knew this was coming. We just didn't expect it to come as early as it did. I wasn't expecting to lose my client. So we're just trying to figure that out, figure out expenses as far as like moving this year, what that's going to look like, if we can even afford to purchase a home. However, we can't really afford to stay in this home renting, so we don't really know what to do there. There's no like lesser priced place to rent here either, based on like what our needs are, because my husband works full-time from home, so he has to have a space for that. We also have 2 large dogs, so we need to have outdoor space for them. So there's just like a lot going on. There is also a possibility of a social media client coming in April, May, June, but I don't know that for sure yet. So that's what's also kind of affecting me going to this wedding that I really wanted to go to. So these are all fixed expenses, fairly fixed expenses, so we don't have to pay renter's insurance next month. Everything else is pretty much the same as it always is. Again, these are more fixed expenses that I just have as like business expenses because it used to be a part of my business, but they're like the things that I use for YouTube and then my previous podcast, and then some of my other business stuff. So in total, planning to spend $3,219.46 in fixed expenses in April, but most of that being our rent. Moving on to debt, this is always the same too. We currently are not in a place to pay any more on these. Obviously, as you guys know, we have talked about taking a lump sum from our savings and like paying off one of our debts, but that's just like hard to do until we know if we have to move or like what that looks like. So for right now, we're not paying any additional on this section. As far as variable expenses, this is where we're trying to tighten things up. So groceries and Costco, I have $1,500. Restaurants and takeout, I have $75. I would love for that to not even be spent next month, but we'll see how we do. Medications and supplements is a little bit higher, to be honest. We might even go over this based on like Ben's health and my health. Household supplies, I knocked that one down a little bit because I've been exclusively breastfeeding, so we haven't had to purchase formula, which is something that I was expecting to be spending a good amount of money on. Personal spending, I have $100. We're still trying to figure that one out, so that one might change. Medical, I have 150. I don't even know that we'll spend that. Well, I'll just leave it. We are, both of my hospital bills came, like Poppy's bill and my bill came. I've already paid those, but I've paid them straight from our savings account. They have not come out yet. They're coming out via my credit card, and then I'll pay them with my savings account. So they actually won't come through my budget. I might still talk about them in my budget recap next month, but so you won't see them in the actual budget because I'm just taking it straight from savings. So that is that. Utilities 150, car 200 because we do need to get an oil change. Cora and Finn are our dogs. That's just 2 things of food, and then miscellaneous I have 0. So $28.85 for miscellaneous expense, or like variable expenses, and then I don't have anything down here. I guess I should put some stuff here. Maybe I'll take the $50 out of medical and put it here for Easter. I'm probably just gonna get Ivy like a little thing. Poppy, I bought them already, like these little Easter baskets. There is one thing that I would like to get Ivy for her Easter basket, so that's something we'll spend. I doubt we'll spend any money on Ben's dad's birthday. They're not like big into gifts and stuff in their family, so I don't think we'll spend anything. If anything, maybe we'll get dinner or something like that. But that is the budget for March and what that's looking like. Let's go to my savings and debt tracker really quickly so you can see where this is. This is mostly up to date. A few of these debts haven't come out yet this month, so it's not exact. But right now we currently have $67,000 of debt, 67,325, 61,352 of that being student loan debt. We have about just under 6 grand left on our car. We only have 1 car, and we have no need for 2 cars at this time, so that is what we do for that. Personal savings, we have a good amount in our savings right now, which is really great. However, this is prior to paying our hospital bills, so this will go down a good amount because getting a C-section is very expensive. Having a baby in the United States is very expensive, so that will be that. But this is kind of where we're at with stuff. This is the one loan we would love to pay off, and we technically have the money in savings to do so. But again, if we were to purchase a home and then, you know, we basically drain our savings doing those 2 things, plus while we're still in this house, unless something changes money-wise, we are taking a little bit out of savings every month, so this could also continue to go down. So we don't want to get into a position where all of a sudden we have like $1,000 left in our account after all of these things. That would not be helpful, even though it would be really nice to pay off one of these debts, especially the one with the highest interest. That is where everything is at money-wise. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will continue to try to get back into my filming era because I miss doing it. Now I just need to find time to edit this. So wish me luck on that. I will see you guys in the next video.